Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to the video. So the stock market volatility continued this week, though buyers were able to take back control after the large pullback attempt and are on the verge for another all-time high breakout. In this video, we'll be going over what needs to happen for that all-time high breakout to play out, along with the top trade ideas that I'm watching the week ahead, including a stock that is on the verge of a very, very large move. As always, there are timestamps in the description. Let's go ahead and get into the video. Alright, so starting out by taking a look at the SP 500 with the SPY chart. So this past week was a more volatile one, and it started out with buyers taking back control of the short-term trend on Monday morning with a reclaim of the 626.28 to 626.87 key pivot zone. This zone has been a key pivot since July, and sellers needed to hold below it in order for a pullback to take place, and failed to do so. So after the strong upside move on Monday, there were two big sells during the week on Tuesday and Thursday, with both of them resulting in higher lows. Tuesday held just above the backtest of the 626.28 to 626.87 zone as support, and Thursday held 629.5 as another higher low before the strong move higher on Friday triggered above 634 and ran up to the 637.58 to 638 key zone before finding resistance. So into next week, the biggest support levels to watch in order to keep immediate upside in play are at 634, which is where Friday had its gap and go move off of, 631.54, which has also been a major pivot over the last 3 weeks, and then 629.5 and the 626.28 to 626.87 zone, which has essentially been the biggest pivot and the bottom of the range since mid-July. On the upside, 637.58 to 638 is the key resistance above, where a break and hold above there can start that move higher, and doing so would target the previous all-time high at 639.85 before new all-time highs above there. Alright, so now getting into some trade ideas for the week and weeks ahead, starting out with a quick recap of what we went over with Bitcoin last week. So we talked about how Bitcoin was in the midst of its first pullback in months, and we were watching 112,000 to be the major support below if it was to be tested. The two main scenarios that we were watching for with this were either a clean backtest off the level before a strong reversal back up, or an undercut and then reclaim of the level, which would have been an entry opportunity for that failed breakdown attempt and squeeze back up. And the first scenario played out perfectly, finding support right at 112,000 and reversed back up strong, hitting a high near 118,000 last week. So now going over what we can expect next from Bitcoin, it's all about the two levels at 112,000 support and 120,000 resistance. A break and hold above 120,000, and it can target the previous all-time high at about 123,000 before new all-time highs above there. Or if it backtests 112,000 again, it may have one more bounce in it, but it would be more likely to break next time around. Which if so, that second scenario could be valid, where the upside setup to watch for would be a reclaim back above 112,000, which can then lead to a squeeze higher, or if it was to break and hold below 112,000 without a quick reclaim back above, it is either a short or stay on the sidelines until there's a dump down to about 105,000, which would be the next major level of interest below. And another setup and trade idea that we went over last week was with Amazon, ticker symbol AMZN. So we went over the reason that it had a large gap down and sell after earnings, and this was of main interest for a dip buy due to nothing thesis changing from the earnings report, and dips like these tend to get bought up quickly on mega cap stocks unless there's a major change in the company, which was just not the case for this one. So after a sell lower early in the week last week, buyers came in strong, and the reclaim above 218 and the 50-day moving average acted as the strong upside trigger. After that, it ultimately hit the second upside target that we went over at 225 to 226.8 before a pullback. So into next week, this should continue to be on watch, as there's a good chance for further upside. The 50-day moving average is currently at 219.16, and then along with 218, that makes up a key support zone that needs to hold in order to keep this upside move intact. So if it pulls back, 218 to 219.16 would be the main area of interest for the next dip buy, and it could be playable with a tight stop loss back below 218. 225 to 226.8 is resistance above, and breaking above there can see the next leg higher for the stock, which would then target 230 and the 231.37 gap fill. And if we zoom out to include the extended hours trading as well, we can see that it has essentially built out an almost year-long cup and handle pattern, with this current pullback being that potential handle. This would definitely take some time to play out, but the longer time frame technical bull case would be this, where a break above 240 to 242.52 triggers that large cup and handle breakout into new highs. Now it would be very unlikely to expect that all-time high break anytime soon, but give it say 3 to 6 months or so, and this has a really good chance for that strong all-time high breakout, making this dip continue to look pretty attractive for dip buyers, especially if you get another backtest of that 218 area. And another setup to keep on very close watch in the week ahead is Tesla stock, ticker symbol TSLA. So if we take a look at a very simple visual of the current setup, we can see that it's built out this more than 2-month well-defined wedge pattern, which it tested the top of on Friday. This has gotten very tight and is primed for a very large move soon. So now if we zoom in and take a look at all of the levels with it as well, Friday's high was at the top of the 331.5 to 335 key zone, which we can watch to act as a potential large breakout trigger next week. So in order for that breakout to play out, it needs a break and hold above 335, which is a key level along with lining up with that trendline resistance, and a successful break above there can target the next key levels above at 347 to 350, 358.35 to 361.5, and then the previous swing high at 367.7 before a new swing high above there. Now zooming back out, it's also important to note that the major moving averages are closer together with the 50-day at 320.07 and the 200-day at 324.02. Watch these to act as key support if they get back tested, or if it breaks below, it can set up a test of the trendline support and bottom of the wedge pattern. At about 307 would be the bottom of that wedge next week, and that would be the breakdown trigger below there. Though overall, due to the broader market trend, I would only be interested in trading the upside break of this personally. It is just borderline impossible to make consistent gains shorting in a bullish market. So until that overall trend changes, we should continue to be focusing on upside trades. Though of course, anybody who is interested in shorting, you should always keep very, very tight stop losses, especially in bull markets. So that's everything that I'm watching for in the week ahead. Thank you guys for watching. For anybody interested in joining the private Discord chat, that is the first link down in the description below to get my personal trade alerts, nightly watch lists, and I answer any trade ideas that you guys have in there. Good luck trading in the week ahead, and I will catch you all next time, and peace out.